Welcome to Fantasy Baseball Roto style. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Steve Romano. Hey, Steve.
How you doing today?
I am doing well, actually. Today is my birthday, and we're talking baseball, so I could not be happier. And we're talking about our Roto League, Draftmasters. We're in a league. It's a 10-team league. We got 30 players in the league, two catchers, middle infielder and corner infielder also, left center, right, outfield. We've been doing it for 18 years, 16 years alive, auction draft in Vegas, and it's a pretty active league. I've won the league five
Yep.
times. Steve's won the league four times. And we are 38% through this year, and we will now look in the standings. Last time we talked, we were talking about how good I felt about being close to first place. Remember?
Yeah, you
You,
had closed the gap. You'd been
I
playing quite
closed the
well.
gap. I was tied for first. I was like, Steve, yeah, it does feel good. Well, what a difference a week makes. I mean, I have not had a great
Yeah.
week. I am at 62 points. I'm in fourth place. I've fallen way back. First place is the Baseball Furies. They have been pretty much the toast of the town so far this year. When you say in the league, they've been in first the most, I believe.
Yeah, sure. Them and then probably Garrett. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say because Garrett is right now in third. But one thing I wanted to bring up, and I'll bring this up after we go to the standings. Apen is in second with 7.5 points. So he's right behind him, 4 points back. Highland, Parks, Crushers, 70 points, 4.5 games back. And then me, 62 points, way far away, 12.5 games back in fourth place. And I just wanted to bring up a couple of things. We'll go to the rest of the league. Right behind me, Seatown at 60.5 points. So he's right behind me and fifth place. So I'm falling way down. I wanted to bring up how Zach's team has evened out his batting and his pitching. He had a big difference in the
I
one
was
category, but now he's got 38 points batting and 36.5 points pitching.
very even. I was noticing that.
Yeah, and I think it was
Zach-
pitching. He was lower in pitching, wasn't he?
He was lower in pitching. But over the last 14 days, Zach he's fourth in innings. He's thrown 108 innings over the past 14 days, but he's had a 2.16 ERA, a 0.91 whip, a 10.47 K per nine. He's had 9 wins, which is second. Only Chris has had more. Chris has had 10 wins in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Zach had nine, and then Zach and Garrett were tied with 20 solds over the past 14
Whew,
days.
very
That's a
impressive.
lot.
Hey, I don't think I've had a lot of souls in the last 14 days. Since you're there, how many did I have?
You had 12.
See, I knew I didn't have a lot the last 2 weeks. I got to
It
switch them
went,
up. Time to make some changes, Steve.
yeah,
They're out there as we
it
talk
goes
about every week.
Garrett, Zach are 2020, Tom 16, then me and Mike are 13, then Eddie Hunter and you were 12, then Rick was 9, and then Chris was 7.
7 souls. Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow, and he's way back in solds. He's in ninth place with only 51 solds. Only Seatown has less. That's an interesting thing to see for me. The rest of the league is Tommy Baseball, 54.5 points. He's fallen back a bit. Big time now up 45 points. For perspective, since me and you were talking, I was at 70 points and you were at 35 points. So I was almost doubling your points. But now you're only 17 points behind me.
Well, and there was one day over the weekend, I think it might have been Saturday, but I looked at the scores in the middle of the afternoon, and you were in fourth at the moment with 62, and I had 48.
Wow.
So I was only 14 points out of the money at one point on Saturday afternoon.
Wow, I think only top three's a money still, isn't it? Or does fourth get something? I forget.
Oh, well, fourth, whatever. I don't know. What is that? Last place pays $100 or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. So yes, that's really interesting. Right now you have 45, so you've fallen back a little from Saturday. Um, Then behind you, right behind you, Sluggers at 44.5 points. He got excited about that, and he should be because he was actually lower. Baldy at 40 points, which is a big deal for him. He's been in the 30-point realm all season. And so
Yep.
he's come up a little, second to last in sold, so as you just pointed out. And Big Al's long ball, 28.5 points. Very difficult season, but it was really nice to see the manager of Big Al's long balls, just like saying that name, make some changes. He went through, he got rid of some dead weight, he picked up some people, he put some people in the starting spots that weren't starting. I mean, he did finally just kind of go, I just can't keep watching this. I've got to change some things up.
Yeah, it was the right thing to do.
Yep.
I mean, there was some names involved. I'm sure it was painful,
Yeah.
but it had to happen.
Absolutely. It did have to happen. And right now, we got a very tight race. Second place is 70 points. The Highland Park Crushers, who I always like to go over their team because they had such a good draft. They are a 49.5 points batting. 49.5 points batting. So, Steve, just to keep things in perspective, the most batting points you can get is 50.
Yes, his team is very close to perfect.
So close to perfect. And he's got 20 points
I mean,
pitching.
yeah, he's got Aaron Judge ranked number one, Ellie De La Cruz is six, Rafael Devers 22, Jacob Wilson 26, Manny Machado 37, Paul Goldschmidt 40, Christian Yelich, who just came back off the injured list and actually had a good game or two, he's at 42. Soderstrom for the Athletics is 62. Stowers from Miami,
Yeah, it was a good pickup.
84. Zach Nito, who he just traded. There's an
He just
active
traded.
trade
Well,
that hasn't gone through yet.
I wanted to bring that up real quick because yeah, he's got a great offense as you review them. But so there was a trade made as we're jumping around different topics in the Roto Draftmaster League between Garrett, the Highland Park
And
Crushers,
Hunter.
and Hunter, who is the Sluggers. And
Yep.
I found it to be an interesting trade um, because of the numbers. I thought it was a decent trade for both. Hader is definitely going to get you some good stats. He is one of the top relievers, like every year, right? Strikeouts per innings as per
Yeah.
reliever. He gets a lot of wins. He gets a lot of saves, but this year it's sold, so he's not as important. That's just the truth. We've discussed that very much length earlier, how it's
Yep.
different this year. Hader was more valuable last year. But he's still very valuable because he does get a lot of solds and he has great stats all around, ERA and whip. And he traded away Zach Nito, and he has other players to fill those gaps. He's got De La Cruz and Wilson playing shortstop and middle infielder. But why I thought it was interesting is because he, Hunter, he has 28 batting points and 16 pitching points. Hunter needs pitching,
Right.
and he traded
Yeah.
for a bat. And so that's why I found it very interesting. I mean, I thought it was a good trade for Hunter. Like, Nito's a good guy to get. I like his upside, even a possible keeper if you really want to think about it. Um, but maybe not. But either way, I was like, you need pitching, and if anything, Hader, who not as valuable as last year, but still probably a top 10 or 15 relief pitcher, I would say this year easily. So it was an interesting trade, and of course, Garrett needs pitching, so of course he traded it to get Hader. Now, just to let you know, I wanted Nito, and Garrett had made me an offer that he sent to me and then, got rid of it. You know how sometimes you make an offer and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And he made an
Sure.
offer. I don't know if money was involved because you got to see the trade. You can't see it in the email, but it was DeGrom for Nito. And I did make an offer back of Senga for Nito. I may even have done Senga.
Interesting.
May have done Senga and Abel for Nito. Now, I don't want to get rid of my pitching. I lead in pitching with 43 points. The next best pitching is 37.5, which is Zach, who right now is at 37 points batting and 37.5 points pitching. Way to go, Zach. But I don't want to, but I need some hitting because I only have 20 points batting. That's one of the reasons I've fallen. I did have 24 at 5 points batting, and I still thought that was bad. Now I have 20 points batting, Steve. And just to let you know, that's horrible. That's like averaging 4 points
So
in every category. So I made the offer for Senga. Now I believe that offer was up on the board at the time he accepted the trade he did. So the Senga offer was there. And I think I had the minor leaguer of the Phillies, Abel, who actually they just brought back up to the majors to start for a bit. Um, so he went for that trade and got Hader, who I totally understand he wanting that, but I still want Nito. And you know what? Hunter needs pitching, so I may make an offer to Hunter now of a pitcher for Nito.
now I'm looking up Nito because I get it. I'm seeing right now he was a first round pick, 13th overall,
Yeah,
signed for $3.5 million for the Angels. Um, he did okay last year, 155 games, kind of shocking. 23 home runs, 761 OPS. I'm fine with all that as a rookie for sure. I
30
know he
stolen
only played
bases,
probably,
thir- 30
yep,
stolen
oh,
bases.
yep, 2030. Um, but he's 270, 815 OPS. Walk rate is super low, and his
Yeah.
strikeout rate is 29.4. So he strikes out a lot.
Some of his
I mean,
underlying
that's
numbers are not very positive, but some of his counting numbers, like if he gives you
I
what
would,
he gave you last year, 70-70 runs ribby, 70-77, 23 homers, 30 stolen bases, batting 250, 249. That's for fantasy, that's good.
yeah, that's definitely good. A 2030 guy is
Yeah.
awesome in fantasy.
70-70, batting
But
250.
yeah, I would think though, in a vacuum, don't you think you could get more than Nito if you're willing to trade Josh Hader? Don't you think Hader could get someone better than Nito? Or is it just because Solds has depressed the value that's actually a better deal than I think it is?
Well, I did post in the league page thread that good trade Hunter, because to me,
Yeah,
Solds is less important, Hater is less important. So I was like, because Nito is how much money? Nito is $1. And I'm telling you, guy,
yeah,
he's the guy who's going to start. He, like you said, big blue chip, right? Big signing, number
yep,
one. And his first season ever, he was 20-30. And I get it. A lot of the underlying numbers, he's not very patient. He doesn't draw a lot of walks. He strikes out too much. But a lot of young guys do that. He's a guy who's probably going to sharpen his skills as he keeps playing if he's healthy. So I like Nito going forward. So I like that trade for Hunter going
sure.
forward. But
And
for
I
this
agree
year,
too. Like without even like, although I do kind of think you can get more for Hater, but as far as just evaluating the trade for what it is, I think that's a totally solid trade. If the guy has back-to-back seasons of 2030 at the age of 23 and you
right,
can keep him for $6,
right.
that's a no-brainer, right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
2030 for $6, you're taking that.
Eh,
And no one's keeping Hater. Like that those days are over.
Well, I will say this. Hader 2 years ago had 33 saves with a 1.28 ERA and a 1.10 whip, and he was amazing. Last year he had 34 saves with a 3.80 ERA, but a 0.96 whip. High ERA, but
Oh, no,
overall. And the strikeouts,
no,
of
he's
course.
awesome.
And then this year,
He's
I just want
still
to go
awesome.
over it. And then this year, could you look up the solds real quick? Because I don't have that in front of me. I'm looking on a different device where I can't see solds. But this year he's got a
Oh, is yeah,
1.44 ERA, a 0.76 WHIP, 37 Ks in 25 innings. He's doing what he always does. He's got 15
yes.
saves, so I'm guessing he has 15 solds.
Yep, exactly.
Right. So you never know. He
And
could
yeah,
get a
and his
hold.
K and his K per nine is 13.32.
So he's
So when I
very
say like
good.
no one's keeping him, I didn't mean it in the sense of like he can't achieve numbers worth keeping. No, he can. He's still amazing. I
Okay,
just don't think I just
right.
don't think anyone in our league would think about keeping him for $12,
Who
would
lead
they?
who leads the league in solds? I mean, where is he? Top 10?
Zach leads the league in solds.
No, I mean in players.
Oh, and players.
Yeah, in
Well,
players.
let's
Who leads?
see.
I want to see where Josh Hader is in solds.
Two.
So he is ranked 73 right now, Josh Hader. Just really good. He's 31 years old. Just amazing 3-year run so far. 15 sold,
All
so
players
he's
sold.
got probably
I know.
top 10, I'm guessing.
I would think so too, right? It's loading, it's just taking its time to refurbish the page.
Oh, it's refurbishing. Well, while we refurbish, please enjoy this red wine. Um, oh, sorry, viewer, you
Well,
can't listener. So where is he in solds?
well, um, and then when it refreshed the page, it went, okay, here we go. One is 19.
So he's in
Robert
top 10, right?
Suarez from San Diego has
Right, and
19.
another closer. So, and what's Suarez ERA and WHIP? Just to compare, another top closer,
Haters tied with a bunch of people, so he's in the top 12,
top
let's
12,
say.
top 12 and sold. So a top 12 and sold, but how many of those top 12 and solds have that strikeout rate with a 1.44 ERA and a 0.76 WHIP?
He has the best strikeout rate of any of them, and he has the best whip of any of them,
Right.
right? And he has, there's a bunch of good ERAs.
Yeah, Brun's a
He's
good job.
probably like, yeah,
So he, even though he's a top 12 solds, once again in saves he would be like a top. I think 15 in saves is probably near the top. Um, I think Suarez has a few more actually, but he's a
yeah,
little
he's
less
got
valuable.
19.
He's got 19 saves, so uh, uh, less valuable in the solds instead of saves category, but so good all the other numbers. So your question is, can you get more for Hater? My answer is a question to you. A, you've already said Nito's stats are really great, right? If he finishes
They
20,
are,
30,
yeah,
250. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Two, Nito is a blue chipper. It's only his second year in the league, correct? And
yep,
he's going to play if he's healthy. And three, he's only $1 if you actually want to keep him, or you can even trade him for somebody. So can you get more? Possibly you get more for Hater, but I think Nito's a pretty good haul.
yeah. And Garrett had the offense to burn, so
Yep,
for him, it's also a good trade as well.
yep. I would have made that trade for Nito. I would have traded him maybe DeGrom, but I had Senga on the table. With Abel also. I had two pitchers, two starters. Abel, of course, a young guy who's only pitched one game in the majors, but still, it was good. I was,
Well, and DeGrom, who is pitching good lately, he's being very DeGrom-like lately, but
yep.
eventually you should probably move him if you can, right? Like before the fucking run fall gets pulled out from under him.
I think I'm gonna write it out as long as I can. I think people know that, and I was surprised. Maybe that's why he got rid of the trade offer. He thought that when he had Degrom, you know what I mean, for
Mm,
Nito, and
yeah,
then he
probably.
then he took it back. He's like, Degrom good. That's why I offered Senga because I think also a possible because he didn't. He's coming off injury, but he also is just pitching fantastic. He's actually in like Cy Young talk already as people start to talk that way more than a third of the way through the season. So, but I got to make a trade for some offense somewhere. There's some interesting things going on in the league. I'm falling back. You're rising up. Let's go over any interesting moves you saw going on. I saw just jumping around. I saw you pick up Max Muncy last night. Muncy.
Yeah, well, I did have I did have a spot open, right? I had made some moves, minors, injured list, so I ended up with a spot. And he had a great night for the Dodgers.
He's had
I
last
do
few
kind of,
nights, like last 3 out of 4 nights or something. He's played well. And Steve, I don't know if you know
yeah,
this. Maybe you don't know this, but he was fitted for glasses recently.
I did not know it.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Within the last weeks, not even a month, I believe he's got some specs now he's wearing. And so obviously someone said, we should check your eyes, man. And so maybe
well,
that'll
there's,
help his hitting. He's always been like a all or nothing guy, hitting 230, but he usually 30 home runs. So not a bad pickup. You spent $2 on it.
yep, I know I had the empty spot. I kind of needed some corner infield depth. And also, my team, the worst thing my team is the worst at is batting average.
Yeah.
So he really can't fuck with me anymore.
Right. If you're
Like I've
if
got
you're
to,
if you're punting it, if you're like I'm not catching up in batting average,
yeah.
so yeah,
If
yeah.
if he could give me like the pace of a 80-80 guy with 30 home runs,
What he's done
then I don't
before.
care
What
what
he's
his
done
batting
before.
average is.
What he's done many times
Yeah.
before, actually. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good to roll the dice, especially with the new specs. Um, Other things that caught my eye this week, you feel free to just jump in. And Hoffman was picked up by Highland Park Crushers. DJ Lemieux was dropped. Hoffman, he spent $3 on him, but he's closing for Toronto. I think he went through a rough patch, but he's throwing well again. He should be a top
Yeah.
reliever if he's healthy.
Well, yeah, and Toronto when they got him in free agency, like
Yep, come
they
from
were
the
pumped to
Phillies.
get him because
Yep,
he's a good he was coming off some success.
big time for the Phillies last year. But Garrett spent three
Um,
dollars on him.
yeah, sometimes you know, sometimes you might read or hear or watch something and you're like, oh shit, I bet all the other guys saw that too. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to go over Big Al's move. We talked about him earlier. Last place team get a little. He dropped B. Singer of Cincinnati. He dropped L. Thomas, Lane Thomas of Cleveland. He dropped Santander, who just went on the IL anyways. He dropped Willie Adames, who I can't blame him at all. He dropped Arenado, who started pretty well, but has hit the wall for the last month, pretty much, not playing great. He added Talion from Chicago, the pitcher. He added Warren, the pitcher from the Yankees. He added Sanchez, the outfielder from Miami. He added Santana from Cleveland. I mean, I applaud all his moves. He added Clement for the third baseman for Toronto. He dropped Diaz from Tampa Bay, the first baseman, and he picked up Matan, a relief pitcher, and dropped Dreyer because relief pitchers can be interchanged in Sold's era. But I applaud the attempt to make things different.
I totally agree. And like I said, those are some big names. Santander, Willie Adames, Arenado, you know, to just waive them when they all should be waived. Don't get me wrong, but that does take a lot of intestinal fortitude.
And in a couple other free agent pickup things, I was beaten out this past week. Zach outbid me for, or no, he had better draft order. That's what it was. He was free agency. His, your slot. He had a higher position than me. He got O'Hearn from Baltimore. I lost out on that. And then you picked up Logan Henderson. I think his first name's Logan from Milwaukee. I had a bid on him, but you had a higher pecking order and you got him.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Zach had dropped him, and that was another aspect because Marcella Meyer had got promoted, so I was looking to get someone to put back in my minor league slot. So it didn't bother me that he had recently been demoted to the minors. It
Yeah,
actually fit perfectly. And like when that went through, like I put the claim on him that day,
yeah.
like right
I
when
did.
Zach
I did
dropped him.
too, by the way, because I have him in
And
another fantasy
so
league,
then,
and he's
but
good.
then you have to wait 2 days. And sometimes the waiting 2 days thing, you're like, oh, am I going to get him?
Yeah, and
Am I
then
going to go
and
back and put in $2?
right, and there's something else you want to do then too. You're like, oh, I want to do this now with that spot. But yeah, you beat me. You had a higher pecking order. I was kind of bummed. I was going to put him in the minors or hold on to him. I'm a big Henderson. I believe he'll be back up. for the Brewers relatively soon, by midsummer at the latest. So that's always interesting when you lose out on a player. I could have been two and got him. I've been one and lost out.
Yeah. Another guy, catching wise,
Yeah.
Mike picked up Tyler Stevenson from the Reds.
Yes.
That's a guy like he's someone that I had noticed because he was like drafted right, but injured and then let go, and I was like, oh, I got to keep an eye on him. But it was a type of injury where he was going to be out for a long time, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to grab him and put him on my injured list because I already had a loaded injured list. And then when someone did pick him up, you're like, oh, damn it, I forgot. I wanted to go grab that guy. Damn it.
Yes. I really dislike when I think about picking somebody up and I don't. And then I'm like you just said, I'm like, oh, I didn't. Do you see in the last week any catchers being picked up or dropped by Zach? Because we have to keep
Yeah, well,
tally.
since I think it was just the one, right?
Yeah.
Since last week, he dropped the White Sox catcher.
Kiro.
Yeah, the Caro. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I really would like by the end of the year, as we keep doing this, to one day go in. Maybe we'll do it pre podcast and count how many dollars go through the whole season. How many dollars he spent on catching. He did trade for $5 recently, so that should help. But that's the Draftmasters Fantasy Baseball update. Steve, any other thoughts on this wonderful league? Who I know some people are frustrated, but let's face it, I'd like it to go for 30 or 40 years, but we at least got to get to 20. We're at 18.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
20's
yeah,
easy.
yeah, yeah. We should do 20 for sure. But I know some teams are frustrated, and it's tough when your team's out of it, as we discussed before. But I still think teams can trade for keepers, and I still think you can rise in the standings, maybe not to the money, but sometimes those moral victories feel good too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's still repositioning you could do, trading for future value to rebuild for next year. Like I said, it's 38%. There's still, 20% to go before any decisions really need to be made.
Yeah, there's a lot of baseball to be played. And you know what I like? I like baseball. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Steve Romano. That's the Draft Masters League. Thanks for joining. Cheers.
Have a good one.